What? I know the plane leaves today for our cruise, but it's too early to leave right now. I'm just answering some messages on YouTube. It's still too early to leave. Just relax. Go ahead and leave if you want. I'll meet you there. Did it actually leave?
What took you so long? Well, I have a car. Don't look at me that way. So I go up to this desk and they say they have a whole bunch of options to getting downtown because the airport's actually quite a distance from the town of Halifax and Dartmouth. And I could either do one of two things. I could take a bus for $3.50 each way and it runs every hour on the hour and it left 4 minutes ago. Or I could take a taxi, but don't worry, it's a flat fee. I said, okay, what's the flat fee? They said, it's $65. So guess what I'm doing? That's right, I'm taking the bus. But speaking of bus, this is the stop at the Halifax airport. That's the bus stop. Look how pretty that is. You expect something like that in the Caribbean, not in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Good job. I also seem to be joined by a lot of these little guys here today. They weren't here when I arrived, but look at them all. Hey little guy, how you doing?
I know you've heard it all before, but you are the love of my life. I knew when you came through the door that you are.
This is an example of one of the main gun emplacements here. Huge gun for in those days, and you can see along the ground it can swivel to aim to protect the harbor. So they could aim and follow the ship as it moved across. However, it only shot through this tiny hole because both sides were built up with ground emplacements on both sides for return fire to protect the gun emplacement and the crew themselves. So they did have a fairly large range, but it still was limited. That's why they needed more than one, and the whole wall all around the fort is just covered with these gun emplacements. Over there on the far side, what looks like mast for a sailing vessel are in fact the way that the people in the fort used to communicate, throwing signal flags up and down to communicate with the sailors on board. There was no radios back then, there was none of the high-tech stuff we have nowadays, and so the only way is to put those masts far up, and so they could signal ships down below and they could be interact with each other during a time of battle or just in any communication whatsoever. So if those masts got shot and broke down, that terminated all communications completely with the fort until they could be makeshift and reinstalled. But just look how large this fort actually is.
On now. Don't let go. Don't let go.
If you're wondering what kind of view that you would have if you were stationed up here, well, It's a little different than what it used to be. This is what the view is today from the harbor. Of course, back then, none of these skyscraper buildings. There was nothing higher than 2 stories, so they had a much clearer view of any enemy ships coming or going in the harbor. Sure, they're ready for an attack from that direction. But what about from behind? Okay, well, it's a lot easier going down this hill than it was climbing up. I didn't get this tired walking up a hill when I was zip lining through the mountain, so yeah. I hate to have been to an enemy trying to storm this place. I just hunkered down there and just said, call me when it's over.
I know you've heard it all before, but you are the love of my life. I knew when you came through the door that you are the love of my life. Nothing's hard, everything is easy with you around. No bombs, everything is easy.
Of course, if you're in Canada, you're going to find beaver tails, and you're going to find poutine. Best of both worlds. On a day like today, all the boats and the boat owners are out in full force. And who can blame them? And the bars are doing pretty good too. Okay, I have to tell you this story. You see the car right there? It's just a normal PT Cruiser. So I own a PT Cruiser like that one in the picture. And it's just gray. That's all it is. It's an old car, it's 10 years old. It's just an egg beater for getting around town. And I'm sitting in traffic the other day. I went over and visited my son, and I'm sitting in traffic, and I see this nice young couple. They walk by me, and they're just kind of staring at the car. And I don't know if they're staring at the car or me. It's kind of weird. But I sit there, and about a minute later, I hear this knock on my window as they come back, and they say, "Can we take a picture of your car?" And I look at them like, this isn't a Lamborghini, this is a 10-year-old PT Cruiser I bought for like $4,000. But they said, apparently some guy on the office drives a car that looks like mine. I don't know, but they did. They took a selfie in front of my car for some reason. Weird. Okay, so I was walking around here and I came across this, and it's watch what it says. The Way Things Are, 2012. 3 unique painted steel structures. Ooh, sounds intriguing, right? Well, they're bent light posts. I hate to tell them about unique, but after a strong wind in Ottawa, we have these all over the place.
I know you've heard it all before, but you are the love of my life. I knew when you came through the door that you are the love of my life. Nothing's hard, everything is easy with you around.
So, all in all, it was long days, but fun days. Good start to my vacation. The weather, as you saw outside, absolutely beautiful. I can't complain. My luggage was here waiting for me. The only inconvenience was a really long line to go through customs. But, you know, I'll live with that. You get that almost, you go to Mexico, you're gonna end up with long custom lines as well. So as once I get up to the line, it took me 2 questions and boom, I got through, no issues whatsoever. And I was gonna go and tour around, but after being up for 36 hours, I think I better get some sleep first. If I can, I'm gonna go tour around a little bit later. Oh, another thing about this hotel is, if you stay at this top floor and you book this suite, well, suite, it's an extra $80 compared to a regular room. You also get free breakfast and you get a lounge up here on the floor. And there's hot food served there, there's fruit and vegetables and bread, and there's drinks. You can go in there and it's all included as well. So there's no extra charge for that. So in the morning, I can grab a quick breakfast here before heading to the ship. And so I don't have to head to the buffet like everyone does when they get on the ship when they're waiting for their room to get ready. So I've had a good trip so far. Really good start to the trip. Let's see what happens going forward. Fingers crossed.
Wow, do I ever look tired in that video? Oh my goodness. Sorry about that. Unshaved, what the heck's going on? But that's what happens when you're up for over 36 hours straight in traveling. And so the hotel I stayed at was the Soffit Hotel at the Gatwick Airport, right outside one of the terminals. It's walking distance. It was perfect place to stay. Anyone having a layover in London or the stopover before you head over to Southampton for your cruise, that was a beautiful hotel, had really good food, very friendly people, and very quiet considering I was attached to an airport. I didn't hear the planes at all. So I was very, very impressed with that hotel. Well, that's the start to my transatlantic cruise. Quick stopover in Halifax. That's where I was born, by the way. I am from Halifax, Nova Scotia, so it was nice to visit my old hometown again. Boy, it's changed in 40 years since I was there as a kid, but fond memories anyway. Well, I hope you liked the first video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You want to follow along and see more travel vlogs, more tips, more tricks, more travel vlogs from around the world, please hit that subscribe button. Much more about the transatlantic cruise coming. Next, we arrive on the ship and we check out the Royal Princess getting ready to set sail in Southampton. So stay tuned for that. And until then, have yourself a safe and a great vacation.